Wubba lubba dub dub, fellow armchair Imagineers. That's right. It's a classic catchphrase because it's classic Rick and Morty. The portal gun's been fixed. The rift has been fixed. We're going back to episodic, baby. And with me tonight, he's the man who will give Mr. Meeseeks a run for his money for how helpful he can be. It's Blue Dragon 5.
I'm Blue Dragon 5.
And also with me tonight, oh my God, it's Jacob Wile.
Wait, you didn't give him anything?
I had something for him, and now I can't think of it. I blanked on it.
That's very insulting. Jacob, are you insulted right now?
Yeah, just a little bit.
Okay.
Jacob, I'm so sorry it slipped. I was like, because the thing was, Dragon, you should feel insulted because I thought of Jacob's first, and I realized
I know, that's the thing. I was thinking, yeah, he must be very helpful. It sounds
I'm
like
sorry.
Jacob
I've got it. Okay.
That's the thing.
Let's start
So
over.
he does a lot more than I do. Has he not?
Okay, let's start over. Okay, so next up, Jacob. We've got Jacob here. See, nobody cares. It's Jacob Wile.
See, that's a lot better. Where was that? That's
all right. That's literally what I had in mind, but it slipped.
It still comes across as weird out of context.
Like the nobody cares. Yeah.
I mean, I know it's another Jurassic Park thing.
Yeah.
But still.
All right.
Anyway.
So folks, we have Juricksic Mort. Atomic Beast is here. He says, "Cue the Jurassic Park music." All right,
Yeah, whoever did the music for Jurassic, we should knight that guy.
I love how
maybe we should knight him using tonight's sponsor, the weird scam website where you become a lord or lady of some random piece of real estate in Scotland.
God.
I swear to God, that's a thing, and it baffles me that legitimate YouTubers are using it.
Anyway, Jacob, you were saying something.
I love how in sync we all were.
Yeah,
it was kind of nice. It was like a terrible kazoo cover of the song that was actually like, in sync with each other at least.
All we need is Arlene Sorkin on the kazoo. All right, anywho.
And as far as episode titles go, this one's actually kind of works. It's not like doesn't feel overly forced.
Yeah.
Because, like sometimes the episode titles can just like, okay, how can we uncomfortably fit the names Rick and Morty into this title?
Yeah.
So I feel like this episode isn't bad. I definitely I think the strongest points of it come from what they do with the continuity. So like kind of more the meta textual element of this episode. I will admit, I think the stuff with the dinosaurs, like the general sort of like, Rick, the kind of like the pompous nature of them and the selflessness versus selfishness. I got to admit, it wasn't my favorite like A plot of the season as far as like, kind of like exploring like sci-fi and philosophy goes. But I don't know. I would put this like towards the bottom of my rankings of season 6, if not at the bottom. But that's not to say it's a bad episode. I just think it's more sort of like, I don't know. It's average tier for me personally, and I honestly don't really.
Would you? Would you really put this under the video game one?
Ooh, the video game one was episode 2, right?
Yeah, episode 2. Yeah, you put this.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah, episode 2 is like a Mort well lived.
Yeah, that one. Yeah.
I mean, that one was ambitious. I just think it kind of sank under the weight of its own ambition to a certain extent.
Well, really what sank under was the whole Die Hard thing for that one.
Right, yeah.
It was just like half the episode was someone going Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard, Die Hard.
All right, so how you all feeling about this,
Jacob?
I enjoyed the episode. I mean, I kind of would dig on this one. I actually did manage. Well enough, I managed to get caught up on the previous 2 episodes I missed after I watched this one. So I kind of watched them out of order in a way. But I will say, I definitely like the last 2 weeks episodes better than this one.
Yeah, I do think the last 2 weeks we've really been on a hot streak. So, like I said, this isn't bad by any stretch, but it's certainly not on the tier that the last two have been on.
I mean, as I recall you saying I actually did start watching the podcast you guys did regarding I think it was final Deathmization or my Desmithation. I think that's how you pronounce that. Like how they're nailing the climaxes, and I have to think. I mean, they did manage to find a good climax for this. It just doesn't seem as climactic as others. It's just it almost feels like it's building up to an anti-climax in a way.
Sure.
Which in itself can be an interesting way to end a story, but it just felt like the story didn't really go much, and other than closing that rift and then fixing the portal gun.
Which are two big things that needed to happen. So I do kind of like that we have just this kind of stupid, ridiculous premise in these dinosaurs that out of sheer pompous spite, basically, repair all the continuity stuff for Rick. I don't know. I think that stuff is fun, but at the same, it almost kind of reminds me of the Story Train episode as far as destroying a level of continuity that we built up.
We could have gone at least a whole season out of that, or at least a 3-story arc. Or at least a 3-story arc out of that.
Last season we had a 2-parter. This season it could have been 3. God damn it!
So basically, yeah, I enjoyed the episode. I still think it's a step down from the previous two because the last two were just balls to the wall. Especially the previous one, just balls to the wall insanity, and the one before that was a very well made horror pastiche. And this one just felt it's how many Jurassic Park joke, random Marvel reference.
Hey, look, it's Joe Rogan.
Yeah, basically, it's just this episode just didn't make a lot of sense, and they honestly a lot of it kind of felt like padding as well.
Yeah. Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one who felt that. Dragon.
Well, I mean, look, I'm not head over heels for it, but I mean, I did feel it kind of represented the hallmarks of Rick and Morty, which a lot of the episodes this season kind of had, but this kind of had a bit of especially by the ending, obviously, we do kind of get in the swing with kind of Rick and Morty, that we take an absurd idea and we kind of play out the, we basically take it, we take it straight to kind of the real world logical conclusions of okay, well, if we did have kind of this sci-fi problem solver, what would happen? And we did that, and then we kind of had a little bit of actual kind of layers of character in there. I mean, the episode overall, it's there's a lot of Dan Harmon. I don't think he directly wrote this episode. I don't know. I'm going to assume he didn't because he can't write everyone, obviously. There's a little bit of kind of that Dan Harmon kind of biting satire vibe at play here. You can definitely feel it, just kind of critiquing the culture, where we're going, and a bit of a call out, a little social relevancy in there. So I don't know. I think I thought the episode was cleverly written with the dinosaur thing in terms of what we were saying about things, and I think our solution for things at the very end was clever girl. But I mean, yeah, this one
with the glove.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. There's a lot of charming kind of classic Rick and Morty beats that we had in here. I felt was refreshing. I think maybe kind of serving as somewhat of a transition point to where we might be going, kind of finding a blend of kind of classic Rick and Morty and kind of here's what we've learned seasons into it. Now that we kind of have carte blanche doing what we want to do. So yeah, this episode was fine. It was good. I mean, again, I definitely like it better than the video game one, but yeah.
I mean,
I honestly have to rewatch the video game one. I only watched it once.
I mean, we're not. I mean, I'm not saying it's. We're not saying
no. The video games, it's not bad.
Well, I mean, I was talking about this particular episode. I didn't dislike the episode. I did like the episode and some of the stuff it was talking about. A lot of it just didn't mesh very well, and it felt like they were trying to pad it out.
Jacob, I think I think I can elaborate on the point you were making, where honestly, for me, especially on a rewatch, I do think, Dragon, I agree with you that there is some really solid big Rick and Morty banter, like the Jurassic Park in-jokes where, I think one of the quotable moments of the episode is the whole, get it with the glove? Yeah, I get it. I say clever girl if you didn't say anything.
I was angry.
That is fun. That is fun. But I honestly think this episode is just like it's got ADD, yo. It bounces around. It's like
wait, what? ADDO?
Attention deficit disorder.
No, I know what it stands for. I just mean like the fact that he said it.
Dragon. It's an obscure Survivor reference. Just
so
go.
there you go. That's what I was looking for. Okay.
Like for a moment, it just sounded like you had no idea what ADD was.
No, I'm aware of what. Anyway.
I mean,
it's an obscure Survivor reference. Anyway.
Okay, it sounds like a weird.
Okay, so this episode jumps from like, boom, look, we're doing Arrival with the spaceships. Boom, look, we're doing Dinotopia with the designs of the dinosaurs. Boom, we're doing Jurassic Park. Boom, we're parodying Joe Rogan and talk shows, and it just everything, all of those concepts just felt so half-baked, and we just jumped from one to the other. And Dragon, I do agree that I do think there is a strong through line of humanity. Like, what does humanity do now that they literally have everything handed to them on a silver platter? I just wish that the whole episode, like, I don't know, I just feel like there was a lot of filler in this episode that I feel like didn't really need to be there. Honestly, I hate to say it, but every time the president pops up, as much as I like Keith David, and Keith David is doing some fun stuff this episode, I kind of feel like that is just sort of filler, because he's basically just like an exposition, like, you gotta help us, Rick. He's basically just like a plot device.
It does have some, even if it is kind of filler, he does have some memorable interactions with Rick.
He does. The Westworld thing and and just Keith David acting like he's high on Molly at the end. It's fun.
Especially considering what Rick's price for going against the dinosaurs is. Hosting the Oscars.
But that's another thing. We do like Rick and Morty or just Rick hosting the Oscars for like a minute, and I'm loving it, and it's great, and I love the whole it's like Rick just completely drunk and unhinged, like the early
But it was
days.
all an act.
But it was all, and I'm like, this is great. Like, let's do the rest of the episode this, and we don't. We just move on.
I mean, if you think about it, Rick hosting the Oscars could have been its own episode.
It easily could have been its own episode. So, you see what I mean? Like all these individual parts are fun. It just, the episode just keeps jumping around. It can't decide on a thing to stick to. Even Jurassic Park would have been a solid foundation to base most of the parody on. But even with the Jurassic Park stuff, I think it's kind of just limited to that one exchange of references, and that's about it.
The
dinosaurs.
And as far as the Oscars thing goes, again, I hope they legitimately put some kind of cameo in them at next Oscars.
Yeah, I'm saying we've worked in animated characters at the Oscars. It is within the realm of possibility.
Okay, seriously, how delightful is it for Rick to just be berating Tom Hanks? Like, do it! Okay,
you know what bothered me about that Tom Hanks bit?
What?
It's the fact that we're not getting Jim Hanks. Jim Hanks is down for everything. Every time we need a Tom Hanks sound, Nolan North, and as much as I love Nolan North, is Tom Hanks.
Maybe Jim Hanks just read the script and he was like, "No, this is beneath my."
All he's gotta say is Wilson. That's all he's gotta say.
He didn't even sound like Tom Hanks.
I know, that's the thing. It's like, as much as I love Nolan North, fantastic Deadpool amongst other roles, but Connor Kent, for Young Justice, Tom Hanks. Give some work. But also, of course, we had we had a lot of fun likenesses too. We had The Rock in there, and I believe we have Adam Driver, and of course earlier we had during the media coverage we had Anderson Cooper and Joe Rogan.
But honestly, I really felt like all of those guys were just very, very, very half-baked pop culture parodies.
Well, do you know what it felt like to me?
Or something. Honestly,
it felt more like. So it feels like once we make that turn, there's kind of like a Don't Look Up vibe to it,
I guess a little bit.
Well, I just mean in terms of the real life.
Sure,
hey, meteors coming. We're gonna do the rounds, and we goofed up. We screwed
also
up.
The fact that Don't Look Up does have a bit of a pompous, we're better than you kind of attitude about the.
Well, there's definitely kind of I guess preachy.
I mean, didn't Don't Look Up come out earlier in 2020, late in 2021?
Yeah, well, I think isn't that right, Tiki? It didn't come out late in 2021.
It came out like fall 2021, I want to say.
It was either November or December.
I
No,
thought-
I think it was December. It came out.
I thought it was like around Christmas or
That's
something.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
It had
that
to
sounds
be,
right.
yeah.
Like, so it's like either this episode was like it's I don't know if it's a coincidence that this episode was like that, or it's like they're like we're writing this episode and then that movie came like, oh cool, wait, put that in.
Well, I mean, the thing that
like I said, I'm still annoyed at the fact that we have like Arrival, and yet we do very little with Arrival beyond just the design of the spaceships.
right. Well, I mean, we okay. We have this. Sorry. It's interesting because this episode, I mean, like Don't Look Up, this episode, I mean, you have to imagine, the reason there are some similarities there is that, obviously there's some, with the biting satire, is the fact that, like, hey, we've solved all the world's problems. Essentially, kind of, we've eliminated a lot of stuff here. There's a little bit of kind of like how the pandemic has been kind of mentioned and kind of poked at on Rick and Morty at times, and how we've kind of done that, kind of under the surface with Don't Look Up about, well, the end times are coming, or rather kind of hiding. We're kind of keeping our own little worlds, and we're living in distractions.
Uh-huh.
Or biding our time and such. So there's a little bit of that in there too. So I think that's why we have those similarities. Let me tell you something about the present, though. So the present, what I love so much about, there's actually I don't think deep cut's the right word, but I mean, I think I've been more familiar with this show than you guys. House of Cards, and I loved it. Seriously, in House of Cards, the great thing is that the Frank Underwood character, he befriends this Freddy, who makes ribs, and he's played by the great.
Oh my god!
Great,
really? Oh wow!
Yeah, Red. So that's the thing. It's literally the whole
friendly rib guy.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. Well, he's friendly, but he's not cuddly like this guy. He's like he's like kind of folksy.
So that scene was basically House of Cards meets Westworld.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yes. So just the fact that it's like in House of Cards, Reggie, the great Reggie Cathy, is no longer with us. He played Freddy, the rib guy, who was like, he basically kind of had this a friendship with Frank Underwood, who eventually became president. So he had like an in with the president. He would just come in and just be like the one guy he could let down, like the one guy Frank Underwood was really nice to, because he actually respected him.
God damn it, Dragon! I don't actually want to watch that show because of the Kevin Spacey factor.
Tiki, just watch it until the last season. Just don't watch season 6. Just watch seasons 1 through 5.
No, that's not the Kevin Spacey factor I was talking about, dude.
Well, I know, so I'm just saying it's a good show up to that
Kevin
point.
Spacey on screen in general is kind of gross.
Well, he's a monster in the show, though. It's perfect. What's wrong with that?
Yeah. Anyways.
What do you want? He's a bad guy in the show.
Yeah, Kevin Spacey. It's still... Honestly, if he wasn't still egging everyone on with those...
Well, he's not doing that anymore. He's really drifted out of the thing.
All right. Well, this isn't the conversation we should be having on air.
Okay, the point being, it was a nice, like, if you're going to do a thing at the president, we're going to do, like, well, what's Rick, if you're doing kind of like friendships in these rib places, I mean, if you're going to do a poll, House of Cards. And of course, doing a little Westworld turn was also quite fun. Just like, how many times you Westworld me with people?
Yeah, it's basically Rick wanted to go against the dinosaurs the whole time. He just wanted president to give him the incentive.
Yeah. So speaking of which, so when Rick goes to the idea that Rick is a little outclassed by the dinosaurs and is really getting under his skin, the fact they give him the portal pistol.
yes, and that I really love how much offense he takes to that.
Just the fact that it's like a clear portal too, so it takes like the surprise out of it.
Clever girl.
I think it's kind of funny that like Rick's been put in his place several times this season.
I love the whole procrastination angle with Rick. The idea that we've delayed the season. Like, well, if we want to take portal travel off the table, so clearly Rick can fix it anytime because he's Rick, and we've given this god level status practically. So what are we gonna do? Well, we're gonna give Rick this affect, this flaw, in which anytime you mention, hey, is the portal gun done yet? He's gonna be, no, now I don't want to do it. It's like a reverse psychology thing almost.
But it's like, have you ever heard of projecting? I don't even know. Do you even know what that means?
No, I heard Mom use it.
Yeah,
so that whole that was,
which is kind of funny because Morty had previously lectured Jerry on projection, so
yeah,
bit of continuity there.
Speaking of which, Jerry Watch 2022. He's
So,
bitter about writing a book and not getting credit. Dragon, is he being petty?
yes, he's being very petty.
I mean, reasonably so though.
I mean, to be fair, that was like a book that was designed to help everyone in the effort of world peace, and literally the dinosaurs like called that like, yeah, well, someone who, if you did a really good thing, you don't need the thanks for it. And honestly, here's the thing. I'm with Jerry to a point of being upset, but then it's like, me, I did it, Jerry Smith. It's like, I hate this guy.
The next book is going to be called "This Book is by Jerry Smith" by Jerry Smith.
Exactly. So that whole
Dragon's irrational hate.
The one thing I'm generally speaking, I do think this is probably the worst Jerry episode so far. Like, in a season that's had some pretty damn strong.
That's what I'm saying. I will admit we have made Jerry strides this season, but we're still not off the ground yet.
Dragon's irrational hatred of Jerry continues.
I mean, it's not entirely
not
irrational.
necessarily Jacob, because Dragon was willing to admit that the last 2 episodes with Jerry in them have been pretty damn fun. So,
well, the whole point was throwing the irrational in there. So
yeah. But I think that the one fun thing I find about this is just how deep Jerry goes into it and how messed up he is by the end. And with the beard and everything, I almost call like that. That's sort of a visual callback to Cronenberg Jerry.
I miss Cronenberg Jerry.
But you know what I'm saying?
Do.
Like, maybe there's like just a tiny bit of Cronenberg Jerry in our Jerry. That's all I'm saying.
It's buried in there really deep.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know. That's the one kind of glimmer that I got out of it.
He just needs the apocalypse.
Yeah, that's the sad truth. Yeah, that's the only way you're going to get a Jerry at the end of the world.
Oh, I don't know, Morty. What did I have to lose? Only fucking everything.
Yeah, where's that Jerry? Bring him back.
I wouldn't like a whole series with bitter Jerry, honestly.
Well, you would like it or you wouldn't like it?
It's like bitter Jerry, badass Jerry's like better in small doses.
Well, true, yeah.
I feel like they could maybe throw him in about as much as they throw in Space Beth, which
honestly, if they can throw Space Beth in so many times, Cronenberg Jerry should have gotten as many cameos as well.
Yeah, I think Space Beth this season, they've been using her really well because it's like she'll have full episodes where she's a presence and then she'll just kind of like pop up for an appearance like this one. I don't know. I've been really impressed with because Space Beth, when she first became a thing, I was a little iffy on it, but I feel like this season's done a lot of legwork to make it feel more natural.
Like, it was still fun to talk about the Twinstinct episode.
Yeah, that was one that Jacob. By the way, I need to thank you for stepping in for so much of my stuff. Either when I've been gone or just filling in on the Marvel stuff I've kind of dropped off of. Jacob, really, just publicly, I need to thank you for that, man. You've been an awesome resource. So,
you're welcome. I still love my joke about that episode.
Yeah, that was a fun one. I watched that. I was in Florida. Florida, that's the name of the state. I was in Florida when that episode aired. So, needless to say, catching up on it was a bit of a trip.
I still proud of the where it takes you do you to its logical conclusion.
All right.
Moving on.
It was also funny how the dinosaurs they kind of portaled Rick and Morty away by Dr. Manhattaning them.
Yes.
It's like why wasn't that painful?
Jacob, I want to ask you about the design of the Screaming Comet. Did you get any Majora's Mask vibes from it?
Honestly, Majora's Mask didn't come to mind. I mean, I do see where you're coming from.
Just like the terrifying, screaming, ominous moon that's going to destroy the world.
Well, to be fair, the moon in Majora's Mask doesn't scream.
It doesn't scream, but I mean, like, doesn't it slowly open its mouth though, or something like that?
No, actually.
Okay, my bad. I thought there was a reveal, slowly revealing the teeth or something.
The teeth are always visible. It's like a huge, huge snarl almost, but it's frozen. It's like a big frozen snarl on the face
And
of
then
the
it
moon.
gets closer and closer, right?
Yes, and then
Gotcha.
before it crashes into Terminid.
All right,
Destroys
gotcha.
everything.
Sorry.
I gotta be honest. The whole screaming, the barely sentient rock thing,
Yes.
the barely sentient kind of planet that's careening, and
I like that description. Barely sentient.
Yeah, so I love this. Kind of makes me wonder, like, it'd be awesome though. Imagine a story where you had Ego the Living Planet just on a kamikaze mission to crash into the Earth.
Oh my
Wouldn't
God.
that be just like, you know what? My stupid son foiled me. I want revenge, and he's just careening toward, and that takes like a Silver Surfer or something to stop him. Like, oh God.
Jesus.
Yeah,
Or
it's kind
Galactus. That's our Galactus team up right there. Of like, Galactus, Ego's gonna kill the planet. We gotta make a bargain here.
Galactus have come to bargain.
Exactly.
Like speaking of the whole screaming thing, that's what kind of distracted me from like making the Majora's Mask connection. Honestly, it's like I don't know what it was reminding me of. Like it's kind of more reminding me of like when worlds collide kind of thing, which I guess is kind of like Majora's Mask, I guess.
Yeah.
I had somewhere else to go with this, but now I lost my train of thought.
Oh, speaking of which, so we discover the dinosaurs. They're not like, these guys are not bad guys at all, but they are very unlucky in which they draw these barely sentient rocks that basically wipe out the life on the planets. And when the crowd turns on, we have this great gag where
I like trains now.
Okay, that hurts a lot.
It's like, well, yeah, that's some of the things that kids really love. Dinosaurs.
It made a lot of sense, though. If you're going to replace the dinosaur, it's going to be the train.
Totally.
I mean, heck, there's even a show called Dinosaur Train, so they go together well.
Oh my
Wait,
God!
really?
Is there actually
There
a
is
show
a show
called Dinosaur
called-
Trains?
It's an educational. I think it's an educational PBS show. But
Oh, okay. Still, that sounds amazing. No matter what it is, it sounds like everything that I love.
Thinking about like all the ridiculous like permutations of something like a Power Rangers, so we have like them in like the mechanical dinosaur suits
God.
and everything.
Oh, Dino Thunder.
Dino Thunder and all that sort of stuff. Don't you think we could legitimize like the whole? It's dinosaurs and trains.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
It's a
yeah.
train full of dinosaurs on it,
I'm-
man. There's your Jurassic Park reboot.
I mean, technically, the Transformers series did have like robot dinosaurs that combined into a larger robot.
But was it a train though?
I mean, there were trains in Transformers.
Well, yeah, but did they interact with the dinosaurs though?
I don't think so, but I'm just saying there were still robot dinosaurs that combined into a larger robot, which is
But
still
never
awesome.
the twain met.
But never the train met. Yes.
Yes.
Never the train shall meet.
Yes, exactly. Yes. Okay. Tiki, there's a gag in this episode. I was really eager to get your thoughts on.
Yes, tell me.
So when we're doing our investigation, we go to all the planets and we find the recurring, like usually like they're filling up like the giant holes with something. And the third planet we go to, the mythology established with the dinosaurs that may or may not have been true. At the end of the episode, we confirm it is true. Rick goes to investigate and he pulls a
Oh, the Tony Hawk thing, yeah.
Pro Skater 3.
No, that's a lot of fun because it is very true. It's like with the Tony Hawk games, just in general, it makes going down slopes and ramps look like the easiest thing you can possibly do on a skateboard because it's literally just the default movement in the game. And I have never tried to skateboard before, but apparently it's a lot harder than it looks.
Do you think Rocket Power lied to us, Tiki?
Oh, I think Rocket Power lied to us. I have no doubt about that. I think Rocket Power lied to us more than Tony Hawk lied.
It's a little disheartening, when you think about it that way.
Did ChalkZone lie to us too?
No, ChalkZone never lied to us.
Funny because I could have sworn I tried jumping into a drawing once like Mary Poppins and I ended up hurting myself.
Wait, really?
No. It was a joke, Dragon.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it be hilarious if you were a kid and you actually tried that?
No,
there's actually more of a deep cut joke.
I actually didn't watch Mary Poppins or until I was like in my teens, and I've never actually watched ChalkZone.
I feel all sorts of betrayed right now, but Tiki, go on.
There's more of a deep cut joke involving the skateboarding, which is in the post credit scene. It's just kind of like, this is just for any like stupid grungy like pop punk kid like myself that grew up listening to stuff like Green Day in the early 2000s. Just I love the you know, just the song that they have. It's a very, very quick, like 45-second punk song of the skating dinosaurs. And my favorite section of it, which this is like what every pop punk song has, is that little bridge of distortion where it kind of sounds like the lead singer is like singing out of a megaphone or something like that. Every pop punk song has that, and I love it, and it's so in tune with like the actual era of when Tony Hawk was big. I don't know. Just as a music dork, it just made me happy. It was a very fun throwback to that super specific time and place for like ska punk, pop punk.
I never played the Tony Hawk games either, except for a demo.
Okay, now I feel betrayed.
Like I said, I played a demo, but I played other games.
I could get past the not watching the stuff, but not playing Tony Hawk. Or did you even have a childhood?
Yes, I had a childhood.
No, I'm just kidding.
Did we ever talk about the Tony Hawk episode of Rocket Power like individually?
I don't know. I don't think individually. No, I'm sure it's been brought up, but
It's still been brought up. Yeah.
Like I didn't. Well, as far as the ChalkZone things, I didn't really watch a lot of Nickelodeon when I was younger.
I didn't watch a lot of ChalkZone either, honestly.
I mean, there's some stuff that I watched, and I was like more into Cartoon Network and Toon Disney when I was younger. So yeah, and I kind of skipped out on Nickelodeon.
Oh, it was the Cartoon Arms Race.
Yeah, so I mean, technically, I was more Cartoon Network than anything else.
Yeah.
So, which is kind of apropos considering Adult Swim.
It was the Cell Animation, Coke and Pepsi, for sure.
I mean, Coke is better than Pepsi anyway. So.
Well, yeah, so maybe it's not the most apt.
But opinions on soft drinks aside, awkward silence.
Oh, I'm pretty much done at this point. We have anything else to go off of? I guess we should shout out. I don't know if I don't know any of the other casting for the dinosaurs, but just a big shout out to our girl Lisa Kudrow.
Really, our girl Lisa Kudrow?
I'm a Lisa Kudrow fan. I don't know.
Really?
She's one of the best friends.
One of the best friends.
One of the best friends.
So that's the revival for Friends if they ever do come back. Best friends.
Best friends.
That's their version of Fuller House. That's
Oh my god.
Bestest
I've
friends.
always pictured the revival of Friends just being called Central Perk.
Really?
Yeah, just like, I mean, obviously with the actor who played Gunter dead, it'd be a little harder. But
Wait, he died?
Yeah, he died. Yes.
Oh man, I forgot about that. Yeah,
My sister used to love Friends.
But I always pictured like the Central Perk spinoff basically being like a Gunter show, where any of the Friends cast members could just kind of like come and go.
Okay, let me ask you this.
Okay.
It's Friends, but it's only set in Central Perk, isn't it?
Yes.
It's the only place you can, like a play, you can only
Yes,
go and
yes,
enter
exactly.
there, and you have like Gunter's daughter or something there, or basically either that or like an employee that basically have to ask. Do you think it's gonna be a son or daughter like running it, or do you think it's gonna be
I'm sure there
we just honor
some sort of like secondary main character that's related to him. Yeah, probably a daughter. I would think.
All right. Okay. All right. Let's see. So, okay, we covered the Oscars. We we should probably talk about like how Rick saves the dinosaurs.
Oh yeah. Basically, it's a two-way battle of spite.
Yeah, I love that. It's very, of course, I love when we do things out of spite. It's very Curb Your Enthusiasm, very like we're gonna get back on Mocha Joe sort of thing,
It's like I dino-proofed my tech just out of spite.
Yeah, so I love the whole basically self-sacrifice game of chicken that they're playing with each other. It's the whole he basically gets them he irritates them into breaking their non-violent, irritates Lisa Kudrow of all the dinosaurs into breaking their non-violent streak. And of course, out of revenge, they fix the rift, which leads to the thing we were talking about earlier. Basically, a big little evil Morty kind of like, I believe, if I'm right, and I could be wrong here, but I could have sworn it said, so long as that rift is there, we can't do portal travel. So with that fix, that's why portal travel is fixed at the end. I think that's the logic there, right? Does that sound right at
Sounds
all?
about right. Yeah.
What I like about the ending is like it's like out of like after Rick was get really angry. I mean, sorry, I kind of butchered my English there for a moment, but Rick got angry and threw a stone through like a Mars rock at the ship. Obviously, not expecting it. He's like, oh shit, they're coming back! They're coming back!
God, that joke, I gotta be honest, that joke's never not funny. I mean, I saw it in F is for Family when I was rewatching it again. And I was like, they have there's this father son moment, and then it's like they kind of curse out a guy and they throw a rock at him, and it's like, oh god, he's coming back. It's just never not funny. I don't know. It's kind of like the rules of comedy, because we always, it's always like, oh man, don't you wish you could do that? But then, it's like, oh, realistically, what would happen? You threw a rock at me? It's like, what do you think you are, a killer croc? Huh?
I mean, what was funny about it was like the fact that like, it took into account like the lower gravity on Mars. It took a while to go and hit it, and then Rick was just like, it was like, oh shit, they're coming back.
It's like the timing and then the panic is just perfect.
Yep. Like, and
The
the
only
fact
thing that would have been scarier is if instead of dinosaurs, they were pirates.
Oh god, you're right. Yeah, or Tiki.
I'm still love that joke.
Pirate dinosaurs.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Oh my god.
Dinosaurs with eye patches and little parrots.
Like, I still love that joke. Wasn't it like he fed like the president and his goons like all false information?
Mm-hmm.
Like, and then
I
it's like,
swear to God, I am still like holding my breath for the whole Rick's greatest fear being pirates thing to come back into play. That is like the one piece of canon that I need them to do something with.
it's like, okay, guys, he's not afraid of pirates. Oh shit, pirates! Get out of here, Morty!
We've done a lot of other deep pulls, so I think we can probably get away with that. Like, yeah, let's bring back the pirate thing at least once.
I mean, he did
Especially because of the Pirates of the Pancreas of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like there is room to explore it.
It's like Anatomy Park, the only episode to have like shrinking down to person's body and then a gigantic naked Santa.
Yep.
Wait, that was the same episode, right?
Yeah, that was the same episode. Yes.
All right, because it almost sounded. I mean, hearing that sentence out of context makes it sound like those could have been two entirely different episodes.
Is it kind of weird that this show has had two different Jurassic Park episodes?
I mean, to be fair, they were like kind of vastly different in terms.
No, I know they were vastly different, but both of them were a play on the name Jurassic Park, at least in the title.
Like Juricksic, Mort, and Anatomy Park.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think this show just kind of like, fuck it, Morty. Jurassic Park's popular enough. We're gonna swing for the fences.
And yet again, we have another Marvel reference here again too.
Yeah. So earlier, so we should mention this.
Okay,
So
this is like probably the funniest that I found the dinosaurs the whole episode, where the guy like very earnestly was like, "We've got 29 movies and 19 more coming."
No, it's 29 movies with 14 on the way.
Okay, I'm sorry. Of course, you would know the exact number.
Yes, get it right.
and then the Stegosaurus is just like, "See, you guys love doing that."
Of course, now sadly, I think that I'm going to assume now that line's probably, unless they did their due diligence, I think that number might be off now because of the Armor Wars thing. So that's probably 29 plus 15.
It's like yeah, we're still salty about our writers leaving from Marvel, so we're just gonna throw another reference in there.
Yeah, so that's a lot. Have they like said that officially, or is it just like kind of us picking up on the fact that they're making more Marvel jokes because we've been losing writers?
You know, you guys can flesh out AntMan.
Okay, that I gotta tell you,
that must have got you, right, Dragon? That must have got you.
Yeah, like let's round out this AntMan character.
It's like he's rounded out fine enough.
No, I know. I kind of thought that too. I was like, yeah, he's getting a third movie.
Yeah, we have to finish the trilogy, man. We gotta see what happens.
You know what the funny thing is about that?
What?
The third movie is written by a former Rick and Morty writer.
Exactly, that's the thing. So that's of all the people to really get the
Jeff Loveness or whatever his name is.
Yeah, Loveless. Yeah,
that's got to be a shout out. Then that's got to be. There's no way that's not a shout.
Well, you got to remember though, a lot of they're writing a lot of stuff because between Michael Waldron, who I think he did the first season of Loki as well as Doctor Strange.
I think he's still also doing other stuff. I think he's also writing Kevin Feige's Star Wars movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, if I'm right, I could be wrong. As I know they had a Rick and Morty. I think it's Waldron. He is coming back for one of the one, if not both, of the next Avengers movies with Kang Dynasty and.
I thought that was Loveness.
I could be wrong. I'm saying it's a Rick and Morty writer, so you might entirely be right. It might be Loveless.
Let me go to that and check.
Okay, well, regardless, it's the fact that we have these dinosaurs come down. They're basically, it's the idea. Here's something funny. So this premise I have seen before, and it's kind of an interesting premise to have. I saw this before, something kind of like this on the whole idea of like we have kind of a godlike, kind of like
technically, Dragon. I just figured it out. Kang Dynasty, Jeff Loveness, Secret Wars, Michael Waldron.
Oh, so it is both Rick and Morty writers. That's cool. Huh.
Yep. And we also have a Rick and Morty writer writing She-Hulk.
Huh. Okay. So, so the idea you have like kind of this godlike being showing up and basically offering peace. So like, just do your fun stuff. Basically, live your best pandemic of your life, and we'll fix everything for you in the interim. And it reminds me of there's an episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command that has, I believe, Roddy McDowall plays the alien that comes down, basically offers a universal galactic peace essentially to everybody. And they actually have a musical number about it. It's really funny. Anyways, it's very much the episode kind of remind me, oh God, it's like that episode of Buzz Lightyear Star Command. We have, it's peace times, and someone's going to get fed up, and our two figures are kind of fed up with it. And with the Jerry thing, it's kind of funny. They're all like, Jerry, how do you do it, man? How do you do it?
Like, I knew this time would come.
Of course, it's the painfully long time it takes for Jerry to pull up the manuscript.
Yeah, well, yeah. Hey, that was also one of the padding things. Like, it was kind of funny, but it's like, okay, we get it. It's just a computer screen.
Yep. All right, let's see. So then, so we're ending with the return of the portal.
Classic adventure.
So, like I said, I very much kind of read this whole third act as kind of like the story train, where it's like, okay, just all this big continuity shit that we've been set up throughout season 6, it's done, it's wrapped up, just clean as a whistle, just done.
But that also means like Evil Morty could do has portals as well, so it could be like a portal battle kind of thing.
True.
I mean, since he has access to his own portals, so it could still be some continuity there, and not to mention the evil Rick is still out there as well, and he could have access to the portals.
No, I'm not saying the continuity's done. I'm just saying I like the fact that this episode, like, those two big things, just like, okay, we got the portals and the rift is closed. The characters are definitely out there for sure, but it's it's just a matter of those two big things that have kind of been hanging over the whole season.
Yeah, but Rick want to be the one to close them, and now that he can, he's like, you know what? We could have gotten more out of that. I wonder if there's just like the writers just like, yeah, we just want to get this over with as soon as possible. So I don't know. I'll stop talking now.
Yeah, I mean, it did remind me a lot of the whole Szechuan rant, the ending about the portals and everything, which does feel very OG Rick and Morty, right?
Oh yeah, very much so. Just the whole like Rick and Morty, 100 years, we're back. Episodic stories.
There's a note of did you get a note of of desperation in what Rick was saying? Did you get
a little bit?
Yeah.
I wonder if that's maybe like a kind of a little warning for things to come. I wonder. Of course, I love that Morty initially was all excited about going to Boob World finally, and then of course he's being like shoved. Basically, we're torturing Morty kind of like we did in the early seasons, where we're putting him through all the portals.
We'll never get to see Boob World.
No, unless we're on. Well, wait. Oh no, yeah. Wait. Yeah, we'd go to HBO Max. Yeah, we could do Boob World in theory.
Oh God, no, let's not.
No, of course not. We're gonna save that for the Velma show.
God,
it's Areola week.
God. It's Areola August.
Is the Velma show still going through?
Yeah.
Currently, yes.
So they canceled the nearly complete movie, and they're moving forward with that.
I know.
So
anyway, okay.
I mean, I'm not entirely against that, Joe, but it should be interesting anyway.
Did you see the trailer yet? We're not going to talk about it, but just yay or nay. Did you see the trailer yet?
Nay, I haven't seen the trailer.
Okay. Well, anyway, so our coda at the end here, Dinosaurs Tiki. How did you feel about our ending, our little end tag?
Well, like I said, Dragon, all I can relate to is I really love the song and the way they did the distortion and everything. It just felt very on brand with with the kind of like Tony Hawk vibes that they were going for.
Have you ever seen dinosaurs skateboard before?
Honestly, probably. Dragon,
Oh.
I'm a '90s kid. All right, it's probably happened at some point in my life in a video game or something. I don't know.
Because there's only one time I can ever think of it, but I can't really recall if there was actually like something tantamount to skateboarding. Because you had "We're Back" a Dinosaur Story. I don't know if
Yeah,
they were,
we're
like,
back. Yeah, that's.
Would you count that? Like, were
surprised
they?
if I've never encountered dinosaur skateboarding before? All right.
That's the thing. Like, were they skateboarding on the cars and stuff? Like, is that like rollerblading or something?
I'm sure they were at least rollerblading.
Right. All right.
There were actually a couple songs in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
and I actually recognized a few of the dinosaur names, so I was like, oh, so they're just listing actual dinosaur names in the form of a song.
Oh, what do you have with the oil joke? We have like a lot of newspaper headlines as the fact of like, hey, what happened to the rest of the dinosaurs? Like, where are their remains? It's just the guy, like the sheik with the oils, like just looking gross. It's the whole fossil fuels gag.
Oh god.
But yeah, I thought the song gag was fun too. Just whole like, these are all real dinosaur names.
Like, and the funny thing is, I actually recognized a few of those. I'm like, oh, so those other ones must be real too.
Diabetes.
Oh god. All right, I think that's about it, everyone. Thanks for joining us. Have a good night. See y'all later. Goodbye, John. Goodbye, John.
Goodbye.
John. Goodbye.
I wrote the book.
Dawson, we got Dawson here.
Dotson.